Fridays.
I think yeah, that's like the best for brekkie bun.
You reckon? Put them to the side. Maybe a poached egg's the best. At the age of 24, you became an international cooking sensation.
This morning we are at Sitatunga campsite. It's just south of the town of Maun. We wanted to be pretty close to Maun because we had such a long drive yesterday. We wanted to be able to pull through a town, get a few supplies and just get to camp and set up. That's why you didn't see that much yesterday in terms of our evening activities, because we were just so tired from just driving for like 10 or 11 hours. We just wanted to get to bed early. But this morning we don't have such a long drive today, so we're taking it slow. We've got the guys in the background doing a lekker skottel breakfast. If you don't know what that means, just look at the footage, it's very cool. But it looks like yet another beautiful day with zero clouds, just soaking it all in and enjoying yet another very good campsite. Because we're using such a thick duvet and we're using memory foam pillows, it's a bit of a tight fit to try and put this stuff in the tent when we close it up. But it does fit, we just have to arrange it like this. 2 pillows side by side and the ladder in the middle, and that fits perfectly in that gap there. So keep this fly sheet there, keep this tied up, and that should close up no problem. Today we are leaving the green Okavango Delta region and heading east towards Botswana's famous salt pans via a 224 kilometer route, with a stop at Baines Baobabs before finding camp at Nxai. If you remember correctly, this is basically the exact same driving distance as yesterday's route, but with today's drive being mostly on a tar road, we know that it'll be short and easy, which is good because we have some stuff to sort out in Maun. Firstly, I have no spare wheel. I pop in at a few tyre fitment centres to find a suitable replacement and eventually find a saviour in the form of Tyre World. I couldn't find an all-terrain tyre with the same size, so I had to settle for a trail terrain. But beggars can't be choosers. If there's one thing that this has taught me, it's that Toyota made a mistake putting 18-inch rims on some of their Hilux models. And companies like Land Rover who are putting a 20-inch rim on the new Defender, it's such a stupid idea because these are supposed to be adventure vehicles, and that those bigger rims may be good for driving on the road, but if you're coming out to remote Africa or middle of nowhere where there's tiny towns that don't have all these different tire sizes, you really want a 16 or 17-inch rim. You do not want anything bigger than that because you will struggle to find the tire size that you need. With a little more time to kill, we put in at a brewery that we'd spotted earlier to top up on some beers to keep us going over the next few days. The Okavango craft brewery is definitely worth a visit if you're ever in Maun. The atmosphere is great and the beers are even greater, with Delta themed beers that definitely represent the area very well. Well, we've just barely left Maun and we're already starting to see a change of scenery. The longer grass that we had in the Delta is suddenly gone and it looks like we're transitioning into Kalahari Desert, which is pretty cool. We've wanted to see this for a while. It'll be something quite different. And I think within the next few 100 kilometers we're going to see some of these trees and bushes become more sparse as well, and we'll start seeing more baobabs, which, you know, this is one of the parts of the trips I've been looking forward to most, seeing these massive baobabs out in open flat areas. That's what, when I think of Botswana, that's what I think of, so hopefully we can see that pretty soon. I was pretty impressed with the cleanliness of Botswana compared to the other countries that we've driven through. People here just seem to take pride in their country a little bit more. We see lots of municipal workers picking up trash on this road, and they were driving a limousine Fortuner. Botswana, you never cease to amaze me.
Yeah, they've driven a limo. They've got a limo Fortuner, love.
For the cleaning guys.
No way.
Yo! This is crazy.
Soon enough, we take a left turn and pull right up to the entrance of the Nxai National Park. Another expensive entrance fee and the bumpiest road you'll ever see in your life. I actually struggle to keep control of my bakkie here and have to stop to adjust the tire pressure.
I really miss Namibian roads. This is one of the worst roads I've ever seen in my life. So we're going to let down tire pressures. It's just unbearably
violent, these corrugations, and we need to find a way to reduce the vibrations, otherwise something's going to break. Oh, look a little bit better. Nothing you can do about it. You can't even turn it on the ruts.
Nope.
Normally with corrugations you can find a good speed and a good tire pressure and sort of just glide over them. Well, that did not work on this road. I'm actually amazed that nothing broke on my bakkie. It was that bad. Finally we get a break from the torture as we take a right turn towards Baines Baobabs and onto a narrower track with a smoother floor. This is a relatively long detour and it gives us the opportunity to spot some game along the way. But the real reason that we're here lies in front of us as we see a family of giant baobabs appear on the horizon and watch them grow bigger and bigger. So we've got some shade under a baobab for the third day in a row, and I am craving a steri stumpy if I can find one. Where do we put the steri stumpies? Don't tell me it's under everything here. So when you say Botswana to me, this is what I picture. Sitting in the shade under an awning, having a nice cold drink. In this case it's just a steri stumpy, but a nice cold drink, and behind me baobabs, and on the other side a big open plain. That's what I think when you say Botswana to me, and I'm so glad we were able to see this place. We tried to book a campsite here. There's some campsites all over this area, but unfortunately they were all booked. Next time though, I think this is the spot. I mean, there's campsites there underneath the baobabs, and I'd say this is exactly what I had in mind when I wanted to come out here. But we're gonna probably spend an hour or so here and just enjoy the moment before heading to Nxai South Camp and maybe doing a bit of some game drives there, try and spot some animals. But yeah, we don't want to let this moment pass, so we're gonna make it count. While some of us marvel at the sheer size of these trees and enjoy the comforts of the shade that's been cast, others are more interested in the fruit.
This is. We are at Baines Baobabs, and this is one of the fruit. Guys, I don't know if this is fruit actually. Today you hear with David Attenborough, that's me. We are looking at Baines Baobabs, and we are here to explore these beautiful ancient creatures to discover their secrets. We see that they have these fantastic fruits that are just laying here. Apparently they taste beautiful, like vanilla, but I'm not going to try them. No, not in my old age. You can't take those chances at like 90. But we're still here to enjoy the shade and look at these beautiful views. That's all I got. Much nice these baobabs are. Okay, that's enough.
There's plenty more to be discovered on this pan, and once we've taken some photos and enjoyed some food, we decided to do what these guys were doing and to take a cruise along the pan to look at some of the camping spots. If you look on a map, you'll see a couple camp spots marked out. To get to these, we have to get our tires in the salt.
You're such a nice campsite.
Yeah, exactly. How cool is this?
So this pan, I think it's the Kudia Kam or Kukia Dam pan or something like that. Very sort of bushman name. A little bit windy out here, but it's very similar to the Finiak pan, just flat open space. You can really put the foot down and get some speed. Awesome being out here. Got a lot of dust in my eyes, but it was worth it. Lots of fun being here. Next stop is Nxai Pan, where we're going to find our campsite, maybe go look for some lions.
On the way back to camp, I get to pull out a stuck Ford Ranger before turning back on the horrible corrugated road north and eventually pulling at South Camp, where we'll be staying tonight.
Why do you think those branches are broken that side?
No, that's definitely elephant.
So this is our campsite for tonight. We've got trees that are munched by elephants behind us, and we've got elephant poop right here, right in the middle of our camp. So the sounds are pretty ominous, but I think we'll be okay.
It's very annoying. I just want to set my tent up, and you guys are so stupid.
It's funny when you get annoyed, classic.
I'm so angry.
With the tent set up and the camp looking a little bit more like home, I set to work doing a little bit of maintenance. My tailgate has become really stiff with all the dust seeping in the mechanism, so I use the compressor to clean it out a bit. I also take some time to tighten up the brackets for my spotlights, which have rattled completely loose. You've still got about an hour or two before sunset, so we decide to head out on a bit of a game drive and immediately start to see some action. Funny enough, we spot a ridiculous number of jackals running around. I don't know why there are so many here, but they just seem to be very much at home on the pan. We also spot the usual elephants and springbuck, and even a Kori bustard, the biggest flying bird in the world. What we're driving on here is actually the Nxai pan itself. It doesn't look like a pan from up close, but look at a satellite image and it all makes sense. We do a loop around the pan, and when we pull up to one of the water holes, we begin to see some awesome sightings. At first it's just a jackal taking a drink and a lone elephant, but when the jackal runs off we notice an unusual shape lying on the ground below a tree and realize that it's actually a lion. And just to the right, another couple lions. Being our first lion sighting of the tour, we decide to just stay put and wait. Maybe they would get up and walk around a bit. They never get up, unfortunately, but nevertheless, to watch their silhouettes with the orange light behind them was a really cool experience. And it was only going to get better as the sun dips lower and a big herd of elephants come running towards the water to get a drink. We could have stayed late into the night, but you're not allowed to be out after sunset in these parks, and so we have to rush back to camp.
Oh my word. It's a jackal in our camp.
For dinner tonight, we'll once again be treated to some quality Botswanan meat. Just what the stomach needs after a day like today. smile for the camera.
Can I help you?
It was about to get quite interesting. Remember the elephant dung right in the middle of our camp? Well, as it turns out, the elephants had a pathway running right through our camp, and it seemed to us that they wanted to use it right now, as they just kept pacing past. Elephants may seem like gentle giants, but you just never know. You only have to spend a few minutes on YouTube to find out what can happen if one of them decides it's having a bad day.
Nice little sleepy tonight, eh, John? It's not over, yeah.
Well, I think we're in for an interesting night. We've had 2 elephants walk basically right through our campsite, and we've had a couple jackal come through here as well, and we're hearing the neighboring campsites, some guys shouting at something that they're getting sight of. So let's just say I'm glad that I'm sleeping in a rooftop tent tonight. These encounters keep happening as we eat our food, and eventually we decide that it's probably time for bed. Nicole and I climb up into the rooftop tent, the others get settled in the ground tents, and we set up a trail cam in the camp just in case. Well, in the middle of the night, we are woken by the sound of heavy footsteps getting louder, and when we look through the mesh in our tent, we can see the figure of an elephant coming right towards us. We thought we'd feel safer in the rooftop tent, but the reality is, as this elephant passes just a meter from where we sit, its head still towers above us. The realization that one swipe with a tusk or trunk could flatten us is a really humbling one. I don't think that I've ever felt so insignificant, and when it walks past us, it only just misses the ground tents too. I won't lie, it was a pretty terrifying experience.
That was very terrifying. I've never been so close to an elephant before. It was like face to face because we're in a rooftop tent. Phew, my heart is clopping.
Yeah, this is Africa. This is proper Africa now.
Make sure that you subscribe, because in the next episode we'll be heading south towards the biggest salt flats on earth, the Makgadikgadi Pans. Not only would the drive here be incredible, but we'd also get the opportunity to explore the pans themselves and camp on the iconic Kubu Island. You think you've seen baobabs today? Just you wait. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.